Your 18-month-old has just woken from her nap. She walks into the kitchen with one sock on, holding the soft toy that has been with her for 14 months. She looks at the door.
If you're listening, something at home has shifted. Maybe recently, maybe a long time ago. Welcome. I'm Remy. This is CoParentSpace, the calm space for parents and children living between two homes. What you'll hear is grounded in attachment science and clinical research. It isn't therapy, and it isn't medical or legal advice. If you or your child are struggling, please talk to someone who can help in person. This is a quiet place to think. It doesn't take sides. Here's today's piece.
Tuesday afternoon. Your 18-month-old has just woken from her nap. She walks into the kitchen with one sock on, holding the soft toy that has been with her for 14 months. She looks at you. She looks at the door. She says, "Daddy?" You don't know where Daddy is right now. You know he picks her up at 4. You know the bag is packed. You know the toy goes with her. You know she's going to cry at the door, and you know that's normal. And you also know your own chest tightens every time it happens. This is what the next 2 years look like, in some shape. This article is about how to make it work. What a toddler is actually doing developmentally. A toddler is not a small child with less reasoning. A toddler is a developmental stage with its own internal logic. What's happening between 0 and 3? The attachment system is forming in the first 2 years and continuing to consolidate through the third. The child is learning in their body that the world has reliable adults in it. Object permanence is solidifying around 8 to 9 months. Before that, a parent who is out of sight is, in some real sense, gone. After that, the child can hold a parent in mind across an absence, that the holding is fragile. A 2-day gap feels longer than a 2-hour gap. A week-long gap is unbearable. Language is exploding between 18 months and 3 years. The child is learning vocabulary at extraordinary speed. Each home has its own language texture, different words for the same things, different rhythms of speech. The toddler's nervous system absorbs all of it. Routines are how regulation happens. Toddlers don't self-regulate. They co-regulate via predictability. The same things at the same times in the same shape. When predictability breaks, they fall apart.
This is why the two-home reality is harder for toddlers than for older children. Older children can hold a parent in mind across an absence. Older children can regulate themselves through change. Toddlers can't yet. They need the structure to be more stable, more predictable, more held. The good news, it can be done. Toddlers can thrive in two-home arrangements. The arrangement just has to respect what a toddler actually needs, not what feels fair to the adults. The 5 things that have to work. 5 things have to work for a toddler across 2 homes. If these 5 are working, almost everything else follows. If any of these 5 is broken, the rest will eventually unravel. Sleep. A toddler needs reliable sleep. That means consistent bedtime, consistent nap time, the same comfort items, and a wind-down ritual that travels. Sleep02 covers this in detail. The 2 homes don't have to do bedtime identically. Both homes have to produce a child who is sleeping enough. A toddler who is undersleeping will be dysregulated in everything else. Food. Toddlers eat in patterns. They eat the same things, they eat at the same times. They reject new things, and that's normal. Both homes need to know what the child is currently eating, what they're not eating right now, which allergies have shown up, which new food was just introduced. Food disruption shows up as crying, regression, or disrupted sleep within 24 hours. The comfort object. The single most important physical object in the toddler's life is whatever they bring to bed. Stuffed animal, blanket, specific cloth, whatever it is, it has to be at every home, every night, every nap. If it goes missing, the toddler will cry for hours. If it gets left at one home, the next 2 days are harder for everyone. The practical solution is a backup comfort object kept at each home. The toddler may or may not accept the backup. That's a separate problem, covered in Article 09 of this module.
Predictability of who and when. Toddlers should know in their body when they will see each parent. That doesn't mean they can read a calendar. It means the rhythm should be reliable enough that the child's body anticipates correctly. Right now, I'm at Mama's. Tomorrow morning, Daddy comes. If the rhythm keeps changing, the child stays activated, looking for signs of when. They don't settle. The parent's own regulation. This is the one most parents resist looking at, and it does more work than the other four combined. A toddler at this age cannot self-regulate. They co-regulate. Whatever the parent's nervous system is doing, the toddler's nervous system borrows. A parent who is calm produces a calmer toddler. A parent who is grieving the separation, anxious about the schedule, or quietly furious with the co-parent transmits that, and the toddler holds it in their body. The toddler's behavior is very often a downstream variable of the household's nervous system state. The parent doesn't have to be perfectly regulated. The parent has to be working on it. Therapy, sleep, a friend to talk to, a daily walk. Whatever stabilizes you stabilizes the toddler indirectly. This isn't optional. It's the foundation under the other four pillars. The schedule question for toddlers. The single most contested question in two-home toddler life is the schedule. How long does the child stay at each home? How often do they switch? The clinical principles by sub-age. 0 to 12 months. Both parents seen frequently, every 2 to 3 days at most without contact. Short visits. Overnight stays at a non-primary home are usually not advised before 12 months, unless that's already the established pattern. The infant doesn't yet have the cognitive equipment to hold an absent parent in mind for long. Short and frequent is the operating principle. 12 to 24 months. The same principle. Both parents seen multiple times per week. Overnight stays may begin in this window, provided both parents are responsive caregivers and the child has an established overnight routine. Stays of more than 2 nights at one home are usually too long.
2 to 3 years. The child can now hold a parent in mind across longer gaps. Overnight stays of 2 to 3 nights are workable. Some children at this age can manage a long weekend of 3 nights. The principle is still frequent rather than long, but the windows can stretch. 3 to 4 years. Most schedule architectures are workable here. The child is exiting the toddler stage. The principles shift toward what works for a 4-year-old, which is closer to school-age logic. If your current schedule doesn't match the developmental window your child is in, the schedule is part of the problem. Schedules can be adjusted as children grow. They don't have to be set once and held forever. See Schedules 01 on how to choose a schedule. The transition itself. The hardest moment of a toddler's two-home life is the transition, the handover, the relay introduced in Schedules 01. It's worth getting specific. Toddlers cry at handovers. This is not a sign that the arrangement is broken. It's a sign that the child has attachment. Both parents should expect it. Neither parent should interpret it as a verdict on their parenting or on the second home. What helps the transition? The same time of day each time. A short ritual at the door, a phrase, a hug, a wave. The comfort object goes with the child. The bag is the same bag. The receiving parent is calm and ready. The departing parent leaves cleanly. No extended goodbyes which prolong the dysregulation. What doesn't help? Long emotional goodbyes, discussing logistics in front of the child. The departing parent showing distress at the door. The receiving parent rushing the child into the next activity. Bargaining or 1 more minute loops. The transition takes about 15 to 30 minutes for a toddler to settle on the receiving end. Plan for that. Don't try to do anything else in those minutes. Hold the child. Let the cry happen if there's a cry. Slow your own breathing. Once the body settles, it stays settled. The next time will be slightly easier. A handover that works. In detail. The receiving parent arrives at the agreed time. The door is already open, or they walk in, whatever the established pattern is. Brief hello to the departing parent. The bag is by the door. The comfort object is in the bag. The receiving parent picks up the bag and the child in one motion. Says the same phrase every time. Hi, sweetheart, time to go. Doesn't ask the toddler if she wants to leave. That creates a choice the toddler can't make. The departing parent says one short goodbye phrase. Bye, my love, see you Friday, and waves. The car door closes within 2 or 3 minutes of arrival. The whole thing takes 5 minutes. The crying, if there is crying, happens in the car or once they get home. By the time they're at the new house, the toddler is asking about dinner. This is the choreography. It's not unkind to keep it short. Toddlers do better with a clean transition than with a prolonged emotional one. The departing parent's distress at the door makes the transition harder for the child, not easier. What to do when it's not working? There are signs that the current arrangement is not working for the toddler. They are worth taking seriously. Signs to watch. The child is consistently inconsolable at handovers, beyond 30 minutes. Sleep is disrupted at both homes for more than 2 weeks. New behaviors emerge that weren't present before. Head banging, severe regression, persistent night waking. The child seems flat or withdrawn rather than emotionally expressive. Eating drops significantly across multiple days. If any of these is happening, the arrangement may need adjusting. Possible adjustments, in order of how often they help.
Shorten the rotation. More frequent transitions, shorter stays. Send the comfort object more reliably. Make sure the bag is the same bag every time. Standardize the wind-down ritual at both homes, sleep 0-2. Schedule a brief midweek visit if the gap between parents is too long. Talk to a pediatrician or child psychologist if the signs persist beyond a few weeks. What's not the answer? Doubling down on the current schedule and hoping the child adjusts. Toddlers don't adjust to schedules that don't fit their developmental window. They protest, and the protest gets bigger over time, not smaller. A toddler can thrive in a 2-home arrangement. Toddlers do every day all over the world. The arrangement that works for a toddler is one where sleep is reliable, food is reliable, the comfort object is always with them, the rhythm of who and when is predictable, and the parents are working on their own regulation. That's the whole thing. Equality of time between parents is not the goal at this age. Stability of who is doing what and when is the goal. Stability is what builds the secure attachment your toddler will carry into the rest of their life. The fairness conversation is not a toddler conversation. It's an adult conversation, and it can wait. Right now, the toddler needs sleep, food, the comfort object, predictability about daddy, and a parent who is doing their own work to stay steady. The 5 pillars are the whole architecture. That's the 2-house toddler routine that works. That's today's piece. If it helped, the full written version and more like it are at CoParentSpace.com. Be gentle with yourself. I'll be here next time.